Welcome, everyone, to the Taylor School District regularly scheduled board meeting of August 16th, 2023, where our mission statement is to educate, engage, and empower those we serve, and our vision statement is that we will be the innovative destination district where all succeed. This meeting is called to order at 6:02 p.m. Mr. Wright is here. Ms. Block.
Here.
Mr. Heath.
Here.
Mr. Myers is absent. Mr. Thomas.
Here.
Mrs. Thomas.
Here.
Ms. Shufel.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on our agenda is our good news. And first up, we have the privilege tonight to honor our 2022-2023 Taylor School District retirees. I know there are many of you in the audience, and I know there's many of you that weren't able to make it today. So we'll be honoring everybody though. So I'm gonna get started by reading a letter, and then if we could just have the board members line up right there, and then the cabinet members too, to help out. And then after I'm done reading the letter, I'll call each one of you up by name. I'll give a little info about your time in the district, and then feel free to start at this end with Mr. Heath and make your way down. So, all right. Dear retiring staff of the Taylor School District, as the time comes for you to embark on a new chapter in your lives, we want to express our deepest gratitude for the years of dedicated service you have selflessly given to the Taylor School District. Your unwavering dedication to shaping the lives of our youth and our district has left a lasting mark that will be treasured for years to come. Your passion, determination, and tireless efforts have transformed classrooms, district buildings, and the lives of students, colleagues, and this community. Each day, you brought not just your expertise, but your kindness, empathy, and true desire to see every student thrive. The impact of your guidance, mentorship, and concern has stretched beyond the confines of the classroom, school building, school bus, office, or any other work environment you may have been in, touching the lives of countless individuals fortunate enough to cross your path. Your legacy encompasses not only the job responsibilities you had, but the values, integrity, and life skills you instilled on those under your care. Your retirement is well-deserved, and while we'll miss you dearly, we take comfort in the knowledge that you will leave behind a legacy that will continue to influence and inspire our community. May this next phase of your journey be filled with happiness, relaxation, and satisfaction of a job well accomplished. You genuinely made a difference and were profoundly appreciative of the numerous lives you positively impact. Wishing you all the best as you close this chapter and embrace the exciting opportunities that lie ahead. With sincere thanks, your Taylor School Board. Thank you again. So as I call you up, we're actually going to start with Miss Delatorre over there, and then just make your way down. So first up, we have Julie Abrams. She was last working at Taylor Parks Elementary as a resource room teacher. Julie had 16 years in the Taylor School District. Pamela Armstrong last worked at Hoover Middle School as a paraprofessional. Pamela had 30 years in the Taylor School District. We have Julia Burrell. Julia was last at Moody Elementary as a POHI teacher. Julia had 4.5 years in the Taylor School District. Thank you for your service. Next, we have Vicki Bloomfield. Vicki was at Pupil Accounting as a secretary. She had 19 and a half years in the Taylor School District. Thank you for your service. Next, we have Lana Bogard. Lana Bogard. All right. Lana Bogard was last working at Taylor High School as a bus driver and maintenance. She had 4 years in the Taylor School District. Next. Thank you for your service. Next, we have Michelle Klein. Michelle was at Randall Elementary last as a STEAM teacher. She had 1 year in the Taylor School District. Thank you for your service. Next, we have Barbara Kronk. Barbara was last working in the Transportation Department where she worked in dispatch. Barbara put an amazing 37 years in the Taylor School District. Thank you for your service. Next, we have Judy Dollarhit, who was at Hoover Middle School as a secretary. Judy had 18 years in the Taylor School District. Thank you for your service. Next, we have Yule Edwards, who was a track coach at Taylor High School. Yule had 14 years in the Taylor School District. Thank you for your service. Next, we have Kathleen Fields, who is Kathleen was in the Taylor School District as the 26M TSSSA Union President. She has 36 years in the Taylor School District.
35 years and 4 months.
35 years and 4 months. Thank you for your service. Next, we have Anita Gayton. Anita was at West Middle School last as a paraprofessional. Anita has 22 years in the Taylor School District. Thank you so much for your service. Next, we have Veronica Harris, who was at West Middle School as a paraprofessional. Veronica had 21 years in the Taylor School District. Next, we have Joseph Horth, who was at the Taylor Career Center last as a paraprofessional. Joseph had 29 years in the Taylor School District. Next, we have Marianne Iwanek, who is at Taylor Parks Elementary as an elementary teacher. Marianne had 24 years in the Taylor School District. Thank you for your service. Next, we have Mary Kincaid. Mary last worked at West Middle School as a cook. Mary has 23 years in the Taylor School District. Thank you for your service. Next, we have Joan Lemieux. Joan. Joan is retiring from West Middle School as a lay personnel. Joan has 38 years in the Taylor School District. We appreciate your service. Next, we have Mary Logan. Mary is retiring from Taylor High School as a high school teacher. Mary has put in 23 years of service in the Taylor School District. We appreciate everything you've done. Next, we have James McGew. James was last working in special education as an IEPC substitute teacher. James has 18 years in the Taylor School District. Kenna Kirkland was last working at Hoover Middle School as a middle school teacher. She has 27 years in the Taylor School District. Next, we have Karen Mitchell. Karen was last working in the Transportation Department as a secretary. Karen had an amazing 41 years in the Taylor School District. Thank you, Karen. Next, we have Linda Moore, who is in the Taylor School District as the TFT Union President. Linda had 25 years in the Taylor School District. Next, we have Mr. Bin Wen. Mr. Nguyen was at West Middle School as a middle school teacher, and he was also my former computer teacher as well. Mr. Nguyen has 12 years in the Taylor School District. Thank you for your service. Next, we have April Parker. April is retiring from the Taylor Board of Education as a secretary. April has 36 years in the Taylor School District. Thank you for your service. Next, we have Jason Pimer, who is retiring from Taylor High School as a PE teacher. Mr. Pimer has 24 years in the Taylor School District. Next, we have Christine Proudlock, who is retiring from West Middle School as a middle school teacher. She has 29 years in the Taylor School District. Then next, we have Lois Ruggiero, who was at the Taylor Board of Education as a secretary. Lois had 40 and a half years in the Taylor School District. We appreciate your service. Then we have Sarah Stoffer, who is at Moody. Sarah is retiring from Moody Elementary School as a POHI teacher. Sarah has 2 years in the Taylor School District. We appreciate it. We appreciate everything you've done for the Taylor School District. Next, we have Mark Stroya, who is at Taylor High School as a high school teacher. Mark had 28 years in the Taylor School District. We appreciate your service. Next, we have Jenny Williams. Jenny is retiring from transportation as a bus driver, and she has 34 years in the Taylor School District. Thank you, Jenny, for your service. Next, we have Kathleen Williams. Kathleen is retiring from the Taylor Career Center as a paraprofessional. Kathleen has 24 years of service with the Taylor School District. We appreciate your service.
Okay, I'll turn your head for a minute.
Next, we have Susan Wilmonth, who is at Hoover Middle School as a paraprofessional. Susan had 31 years in the Taylor School District. We appreciate your service. Next, we have Myrtle Wilson, who is in the Taylor School District as a cook. Myrtle was in the Taylor School District for 1 year. We appreciate your service. Lastly, but not least, we have Christina Yankel, who is at Taylor High School as a paraprofessional. Christina had 21 years of service in the Taylor School District. Is there anyone else in the audience that was not? No? Oh, Patrick? Nope, you're not retiring. Once again, oh, you're all good up on the front. Thank you. Once again, we want to thank you all so much for your dedication to the Taylor School District. It's people like you that have truly made a difference and a lasting impact, and we can't thank you enough for the amount of years, whether it was 1 or whether it was 40. Each of you made an impact, and we can't thank you enough. So thank you again. Just one last round of applause. And I know we have a few more good news items, and then after that, enjoy retirement, all right? So second up, we have a transportation update, and that is Mr. Anasazi.
All right. So we just want to say, make it real quick, we want to welcome Latrell Cunningham, who's our new Director of Transportation, started on the 7th. And along with that, though, we want to give a big thank you to Cindy Kornacki for her work over this summer. Took on that role during the transition of directors, did an excellent job managing summer school. Definitely not an easy role. So we want to thank her for that time being.
Awesome. Thank you. Next up, we have tag presentation, and then we also have summer school passion project. Just going to say the next two because it's both.
Sounds good. All right, so for the TAG, that stands for the Targeted Assistance Grant. So we want to let you know the Targeted Assistance Grant was a grant that we got fairly late in the year, within the summer timeframe. It's attached to MDE, some additional funds, and why we're working with some of our buildings. And so due to this, the TAG has a couple different line items that they allow you to spend it on. They can spend it on materials, or you spend it on with groups of teachers working together, those type of things. Since we didn't get it right through the summer, we'll have it earlier this year, so even more time to plan. We used it on the materials. So through Bridget Jarvis and a large team kind of working with her, they were able, the grant total was for $140,000. So they were able to utilize the majority of that with buying materials that will go during open houses and different times, go directly to into students' hands to prepare them for the year, including what you'd consider normal school materials, but also backpacks. There are some schools, depending on the funding, that will be able to service every student, every single kid within that school. So it took a team to get it underway. Like I said, we'll have more time this year to be able to spend it, but thank you to everybody who worked hard to get that spent.
That's awesome. So, thank you.
All right, and then the next one. So the summer school passion project, and Matt, I believe if you want to flip through those, and you can just kind of flip them through why we're talking. So a few things about summer school, just to give an overview. Summer school is very successful this year. We had 300 plus students in the K-8 summer school. One of the things that just highlighting here along with that is one of the aspects of summer school is we always try to keep the students rotating, keeping moving. Number one, they're in school during the summer, but we also want to keep them engaged. And so one of those ways of doing it, one of the small rotations throughout the week was working with a passion project. So every teacher had something different. So we had Heather Gervasi is one of our ATAs actually within the district. So she led one of our summer school passion projects. And as you can see, they were making bracelets, whether it's bracelets for their wrists or whether lanyards or different things. So part of it, and you're going to see one of the pictures, kind of to create that community, create that culture within the building. So just a small part of summer school, but allowed us, like I said, to do some of the rotations throughout the day. We were able to add STEAM to the rotations, add some of the other electives to the rotations. So that way we still had our math, still had our ELA and a strong focus on that, but allowed other rotations as well throughout the summer. Other summer school, and I'll probably bring more defined numbers to the board at some point, but over a 3 years time, we're able to, the summer school part of it, which is the 9 through 12, we've been able to almost double the amount of courses completed every year. We started with only, it was like 2 or 3 years ago, only about 9 or 10% of the students actually finished one of the courses, where the previous summer school 2022, we were up in the 20% range. And now we're still working on final numbers, but it's over 50% now that have completed one course, if not more. So that's a huge compliment to our teachers that we're bringing them in now, which is a huge difference, working with them intently. So working on a lot of those credit recovery courses. So a lot of success this year.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I know at this time, that's the end of our good news. So we appreciate everyone being here and thank you so much for your time. Seriously, thank you.
Thank you.
That's the end of the good news.
What?
Well, that's the end of the good news.
True. Everything to follow.
Just married was
That's encouraging. With the-
I'll look out for it. He's a pretty good guy.
Yeah, that's what we're going
Yeah, Matt, can you put the retiree list back on? Can you put the retiree list back on real quick? Thank you, Matt.
All right.
That's cool. 39 years is a long time on a bus.
See you, buddy.
Thank you, Matt. All right,
Thank you.
no problem.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
All right, moving on to item number 4,
Yeah.
Ms. Block.
Are there any revisions to the agenda?
Yes, we will be taking out discussion item number 2, City of Taylor water main easement. And we'll also be taking out item number 2 in action items, which correlates to the discussion item, City of Taylor water main easement. Yeah. And then we will also be adding to the consent agenda, the curriculum department's request to hire list as well. That is being added to the consent agenda. For the consent agenda? Yeah. Curriculum department request to hire.
Your approval of the agenda with revision. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Go ahead.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Heath, second by Mrs. Thomas. Yes, Mr. Heath,
Yes.
Mr. Myers is not here, Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas. Yes. Mrs. Shufeldt.
Yes.
Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Carries 6.
All right, moving on to item number 5, discussion items. First up, we have Johnson Early Childhood Center Playground, Mr. Kent, which is also the Pohai Playground. Oh, we flipped it on you.
So I think back at the end of June. So at the end of June, we discussed replacement timber borders and all the 9 elemental playgrounds that we replaced earlier this year. Since then, we've discussed, some alternate options that we could do with that originally approved amount of $133,480. One of the things that came up in one of our bond team meetings was looking at replacing the pour-in-place surfacing at Johnson. which we got a quote back for $96,000 to replace roughly 32,000 square feet. That includes removal and replacement. Obviously, we'll finalize colors and things like that if the district decides to go forward with that. But we wanted to present that option. And Jacob, correct me if I'm wrong, we want to also talk about the process to get a new playground if desired.
Right.
Okay, so the process that we used for the other 9 elementary schools was we set a budget based off of historical data, which was 225,000. That included a large structure and a bunch of smaller items as well. For this playground, I don't think it'll be as intensive as much equipment, so it'd probably be a smaller budget. But essentially, what the district would do is set a budget for that playground. We'd go out and make it a public bid because the legal counsel for the district deems it as construction, so anything over 28,000 needs to be publicly bid out. We'd get those proposals back, we'd review them. Essentially, it's the same dollar amount for every single firm that's proposing, so the district would just look at the proposals and see what equipment they prefer to go with, what fits their needs the best. Once that's awarded, then we would get into the design, have stakeholder meetings, meet with the principals, if there's a PTA group that wants to be involved, whoever it may be, they would design the playground, the colors, make all those choices, and then we move into construction. So that's kind of how that process would work. And that'd be in addition to the 96,000.
So, do you have more?
Oh, no, that's it.
Okay. So really the two options that are coming before us, and like you said, the conversation about how we got to this point was the fact that when the new playgrounds got replaced throughout the district, the Johnson's Pohai playground was not replaced, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then the first quote, the 96,000, is if we wanted to keep the existing playground, but just resurface the flooring because that's been torn up. I mean, throughout the years.
Why wasn't this included in the first go
So
around?
the first go around, there's only one playground per elementary school, and they deemed that the playground at Johnson inside the courtyard was the one that was going to be replaced for that go around. Per the, I think it was Mizell that did the assessment, so the playground over, well, the other playground at Johnson was still acceptable per code, so that wasn't included in that first go around.
So that was my question, is our insurance company says that it's safe, we can use that Pohai playground as is. Okay. Do we know if the kids currently do use that playground, Pohai kids? Or no? I don't think they is it used it. Okay. Do we know what they use or no? And is it due to the flooring, you think, or?
It could be.
Okay. And then the other option is the actual brand new playground. So ripping out the existing one, redoing it all, new flooring, everything. What is, because right now there's a blank for the amount. And I know you said,
If I had a ballpark, I would say probably roughly 125,000 from memory from what that structure is to replace something similar. If it makes sense, we can get a playground manufacturer out there to kind of look at it, just give us a ballpark estimate as what it would cost to replace it, and then use that for the budgetary amount for the RFP.
And 125 is in addition to the 96.
Correct.
Well, and that's where it depends how you want to go. When we brought this forward, and that's why it's a strange action item, because you could move forward with doing the 96,000, replacing the surface over at Johnson for the Pohai and then come over
Right.
there. When we thought about, when the idea came up of building a new Pohai playground, either in the same spot or closer to Moody, because that was brought up too, if you're building it new, let's get it closer to the Moody school instead of being over at Johnson. That would probably be not in addition to, but in replace of. So instead of replacing the surface, it could be just demoing that playground. And so really, and that's where if the board, we left it blank because we didn't have a quote for that. And so the board could propose an amount they want us to look at, or just recommend that that's the direction we move forward. Say we would rather entertain a new playground other than redoing the surface. And then we could get those, because we'd still have to bring that dollar amount back if you were unsure of what that would be.
Yeah, and one thing we wouldn't do is obviously move forward with the replacing of that pour-in-place surfacing. In between now and the next board meeting, we could probably get a quote from that manufacturer, come back, update the board and say, here's the amount if you want to go forward with it. So like Jacob was saying, there's three options. We can either replace the surfacing, just demo the surfacing and do a mulch, all within that 133,000, or get that quote from the manufacturer, bring it back to the board for approval, and then do the project all in one foul swoop.
If we mulch it, though, it's not accessible anymore to those kids.
Right.
But they don't
Correct.
use it, right?
But yeah, can we find out
They
if they're
don't
gonna use it?
use
Is
before
it-
we vote on this? I
And
mean,
what, and why
they're-
they're not.
Why they're not using it?
So Johnson has a new playground. It's in like the middle.
That's for the preschool.
Right. I
Yeah.
just,
I mean,
It's the Poe
I
playground.
don't wanna spend so much money on it if they're not gonna use it. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
So where are the funds coming from? Is it
This
bond dollars?
Mhm.
So that's,
Yeah.
Can you use ESSER funds for this?
We, at this point, with the way that we've managed the ESSER funds, spending on other instructional practices and stuff, that really they have been kind of rolled into the general fund at this point. So it would really come out of it would come out of the general fund, which is part of that money that's being transferred over to the bond, since we were gonna put $20 million into the bond project. So there's not strictly any, and Dave can speak on it more, but strictly any ESSER necessarily available to spend on that.
But the big thing is ESSER, you have to submit a plan to the state and they have to approve it, and you tell them how you're gonna spend your ESSER dollars, and this was not in our plan. So we would have to do an amended plan to the state to get this in the ESSER dollars. So not as the best place to find it, let's put it that way.
Huh. To me, I would want to know if they're going to use it first before we
That's roughly what,
approve.
220,
anything,
215,000
'cause
dollars.
that
That's a
goes
lot
to
of
high
money too.
school.
to play around.
I mean.
yeah.
I
How,
don't-
how much was given to each elementary for their playground? Was it 225?
225, correct.
Okay, so this would be about the same between the structure and the flooring, it'd be 225.
Yep.
And there was no way to include, when the original playground was put in, like a Pohai option with the playground that was there? Like you couldn't have,
So at Moody, the whole ground, from my understanding, is all mulch. So I know that there was conversation about putting that flooring in throughout Moody, but
no, I mean at Johnson, because you said it could only have one playground. So you couldn't have included like a Pohai playground at that time to then just separate, like this is where this portion of the playground's gonna go, this is a portion of the Pohai portion of the playground, so that it would have been already in that $225,000. No,
So- it's just for a little, like Johnson's playground, the way it stands, it's in the courtyard, but it's also fenced off and
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, that's per what the state says or the grant that we fund.
Yep.
Yeah, they require us to have that fenced in, so there would be no accessibility for those Pohai kids, because they're coming from Moody Elementary. So the Pohai program's housed at Moody, but the Pohai playground was built at Johnson, which is very confusing. So they would transport those kids. So to get to the
I mean,
actual
that's a hike
courtyard,
too.
to get to the courtyard playground, they would have to wrap all the way around. the
Yeah.
building. So
And when would this start? Would it be tore up for the fall, so they wouldn't even be able to use it anyways? Or would it start in the spring?
So it depends on, so lead time for playground equipment right now is probably about 3 months. So it's all about getting in the queue. So as soon as it's approved, which wouldn't be till the next board meeting, which would be
September 6th.
September 6th. So it would be a spring project at best. So, I mean, to me, I think it's a lot of money to invest in a playground if we're not sure if it's even being used.
Yeah.
So
And there was no way to get a playground at Moody that included Pohai equipment
It is.
in the original playground
take it.
purchase? You couldn't have,
So it was never brought to our attention that was
Oh.
needed.
They don't need it.
And
The
to
floor.
be honest, I mean, you could probably get that equipment. It'd just be, you take away from the main structure of the other playgrounds. It'd be lesser equipment for the main playground and it kind of just
but it would have
disperse a little bit.
been a playground for all kids to play at.
Yeah, I mean, all the
with
equipment
one
that's,
amount.
all the equipment that is installed at Moody is ADA accessible equipment.
It's just the mulch.
Just the mulch,
So
correct?
wouldn't it be smarter just to redo the ground underneath the playground that's there? Instead of spending another $225,000 on a whole new playground?
Yeah.
I mean, it will be less money to just resurface under the playground that's there that they can play on, correct?
Yeah, I'm all for
I mean,
it.
if that's what we're worried about, why is that
So,
even?
yeah,
Could be
I was
another
just
option
told to
as
bring
So-
information about.
I
Yeah,
guess the
So I think,
biggest,
If they're not gonna
biggest
use it, why
question
even
is-
waste the money?
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, a
that
little
too.
bit
I
of,
mean,
Well, and so to answer that just a little bit, because I wasn't one dealing with the elementary playgrounds
Sure.
before, so I talked a little bit with Michelle Hernandez on Tuesday, and I don't have the answer for if the Johnson one's used, and if it's not, why, but I
Right.
do know she said having like an accessible one, especially more towards Moody, would be a huge help to their Powai kids would use it at that point. So whether it's an extension to it, whether it's a new surface to it, is there a way we
I
can
think
get?
that would be the most affordable option is if
Yeah.
the playground equipment there at Moody is already ADA accessible for those students. We need to make the ground
like, that.
accessible for them.
So I
That-
guess,
Instead of a whole entire new playground.
so I guess it is getting a quote for resurfacing the existing playground to make it accessible for kids in wheelchairs.
Yes,
And then another option, so that's first option. Another option is pricing what that new playground would look like. So we can compare the two to see if one is more costly or which one has more savings towards it. 'Cause-
And see why they don't use it. I mean,
Yes.
if they don't use it for another reason. then
right,
there's
is
no
it, if
sense
it's,
to put
is it
money
a
into it.
distance issue? Is it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I motion that we table this until the September 6th. Is there support?
Support.
Support.
Support, all right.
And if there's any other options that the board wants, we're happy to look into those as well.
Yeah. And we appreciate the conversation. That's what, there was a lot of different
Huh?
options. So when we were discussing it, we weren't sure what to put on the board agenda. So that's why we
Right.
figured it'd be better just to have a discussion amongst the board to see what you want us to look into. So we
So-
appreciate that.
We have a table, we have a motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Schufelt. Ms. Schufelt,
Yes.
Mr. Wright, yes. Ms. Block?
Yes.
Mr. Heath?
Yes.
Mr. Myers is absent. Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
That passes 6-0. The item is tabled until September 6th board meeting.
Thank you.
Yes, so go ahead and remove it off your action item. Moving on to item number 2, the Kenyon and Myers cafeteria tables. Mr. Gerard.
Good evening. So I'm gonna discuss, we put some RFPs out for new in-wall cafeteria tables for Kenyon and Myers. And on July 19th, we had the bid opening. We received 2 bids for each building. For Kenyon, we received a bid from Duell Learning Environment Specialists in the amount of $47,946.58. The second bid was from Nelson Adams, NACO, for $50,480.16. After doing some research with both companies, they both offer the same amount of warranty, 15 years. We recommend accepting Duell Learning Environment Specialist to install the in-wall cafeteria tables at Kenyon. I don't know the last time that, it's been a while, they're fairly old, and, we get them repaired, and it's becoming difficult to find somebody that'll even come out and repair them because they are an older item. For Myers, we received 2 bids, one from Duell, Learning Environment Specialist. Their bid came in at $111,896.83. And Nelson Adams, NACO, came in at $77,051.39. I talked to Duell and I'm like, wow, that's a big difference. I was concerned because of the big difference. Well, I guess they had a few mistakes on their bid. So we recommend going with Nelson Adams, NACO. He did send me another bid, but it was still over the amount and it was higher than Nelson Adams. And Patrick and I looked at the tables, the quality of the tables, they're basically the same. They offer the same year, 15-year warranty. We've had Duell do some cafeteria tables at McDowell, and we did have to get a repair done. And within weeks, we had the part and it was repaired. So they're very good too. So that's what we have.
What's so drastic between the two? Why are they?
Myers has more, they have a few more tables.
Okay.
And it's just a different style of table that they require.
But both come out of the wall.
They do. Yeah, they both come out of the wall. I have a concern with the ones coming out of the walls, but the new ones are very safe. You can secure them when they're up in the wall. So
When you
they-
say a few more tables, how many more tables does Myers have than Kenyon?
Kenyon, I believe, has 7 and Myers has 12.
Hmm.
So they have 5 more tables and benches.
And what's wrong with the existing tables?
I want to say Kenyon's probably 20 years old. We've had companies come out to repair them, and it's just difficult to get the parts.
I will say this, Kenyon's tables and their walls are terrible to work with.
Yes, they are.
They stick, you gotta find fancy tools, screwdrivers. I
I-
have dealt with them before.
I did some
And they
research
were
with,
awful, and that was like 6
Yeah.
years ago.
I
so
did some
can't imagine.
research at Kennedy, and I believe they came out of Fisher. I believe those tables came from Fisher and were installed from Fisher over at Kenyon.
Oh, wow.
So they're fairly old.
Yeah.
So, do you
Any
have
other
any
questions?
questions?
Thank you, sir.
Good.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
All right, moving on to item number 3, advance authorization. Ms. Bellis.
Yes, I'm asking the board to approve advance authorization to hire for the months of September and October. It's really critical. It's critical all year round, but it's especially critical right now when we're trying to fill last minute positions, people who may be moving on to another district or retiring at the last minute. And then to have them wait and possibly get snatched up from another district. It really doesn't help our district too much. So hopefully we can get the advance authorization. We've been doing pretty well. We've only had about, I think 4 people from our 22 from July 7th when we had like a mass onboarding that have taken positions elsewhere. So actually we're doing pretty well. We're trying to keep up with them. So,
That's awesome.
and that's due to the advance authorization.
And is this gonna also apply? So is this for the interim superintendent that will be coming in? The advance authorization, is this?
Yes, I mean, it would be, I would say we would do it for cabinet. Primarily, it's usually for the superintendent and or for the HR director.
HR director, okay. Any questions? Okay. Real quick question, backtracking to the tables, and it was a question from Mr. Jones. Are these tables budgeted within our year, or is this taking out?
Don't recall budgeting these this year.
Okay.
'Cause I think it came up kind of late in the year when we'd already put the budget together. So we didn't know about it.
So where would the money be pulled from, or would it be added to their budget?
We gave, I hate to tell Jack, I know, look at him. Look at him. We gave him a healthy building improvement budget.
Okay.
So I think this falls under that umbrella. So I think we're fine.
Actually, I have another question
He's
too.
gonna take his proposal.
I know it's important to have like the safety, these done because safety
Yeah.
of the kids and even the employees, because fingers are getting caught and stuff, but
Mhm.
is there a way to figure out like the future of some of these schools and what's happening before we start just continuing to dump money into school after school after school without knowing what the future might hold for them? Or do we just need to keep dumping the money into these schools? Like, I don't,
Well, I think at this, like, that's a really good question. I know that's why the utilization study was done. And I know the board's supposed to be having a follow-up meeting come September about the utilization. I guess it's a question for Jack. Are the tables in a good state if we were
like
to?
to where we could, before we dump another, like, I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but I'm just,
Yeah,
like, if we move Meyer students over to Kenyon, and we just put $80,000 nearly into this Myers building, like, what?
I don't know when that's gonna happen,
yeah,
and I can't say those tables will be safe for the next 5 years. I
Yeah.
can't honestly say.
Or
that.
that'll ever
I'm just
Or-
thinking safety.
yeah.
We had one fall at Kenyon on an employee,
Mhm.
luckily she got out of the way, but.
Yeah,
I
like, I know the safety is an issue, but I just think we really need to focus on, before we continue dumping almost hundreds of thousands of dollars into these schools, like, we need to figure out what the future looks like.
Those tables can be moved, correct? That's what you've done in the past.
They could, yeah, I mean, if, I don't know that, we could move it to another school, if that's what we need to do.
And the good thing with talking about some of those, like, we have talked before about like the location of Myers is a pretty prime location for a school to be in, and then Kenyon being right next door to West has a strong, so I mean.
So I
they're-
know that those
Right, they're kind of
particular
that-
schools might be
But I know what you're saying. We
safe,
don't know
but
for
we just don't
100%.
know for sure, and
Yes.
it's like,
I agree.
But looking ahead, the utilization study definitely needs to be addressed probably soon.
Yes.
If we're gonna be making more improvements across the district.
Correct.
So,
because it, just because those, it might not be on different schools.
Yeah.
That really needs to be taken into consideration.
all right, sorry to backtrack.
Sorry.
Moving on to item number 4, the general education social workers. And then I'm just gonna say, item number 5, attendance agents, item number 6, the additional Taylor High School credit recovery teacher, number 8, the overnight and out-of-state conferences, and then number 8, the new hire school improvement coordinator. All
right,
Mr. Hillsoff.
we'll go right through them. So the new numbered 4, 5, and 6 are all on the front and back of the staffing proposal that I included within your information. So this first one, the general education social workers, this was an item that I 2 weeks ago gave you a heads up on that we were going to be bringing. There was just more work that we had to do with TFT to work out exactly what that looks like. As some of you maybe know, we have throughout the district, we have 10 to 12, probably closer to 12 special ed social workers that work just with our students with an IEP that specifically requires social work within that. We only have 2 general education social workers throughout the district, and that's one in the high school and one in TVLA, both using 2 different types of grant funds for that. So to go back, the reason why we originally started talking about this, partway through last year, we got a grant called 31AA. And so it's specifically a mental health grant that can be utilized in multiple different ways, but this is one of the a very productive way in which we use the grant. So we know we have that grant for at least a couple years. We don't know the longevity beyond the 2 years. And so we feel like it will carry on a little bit more, but if not, part of our goal as a district will be to look for funding and other grant sources or what we do with those positions. So we had that conversation with TFT because anytime we add positions, we want to be realistic with them about the possibility of where the money's coming from so they know it's grant funded. And so the agreement we reach with TFT now, and we still have more details to get there, is if the board agrees on this, we are going to post the position as a TFT position. The social worker job description's already out there. It's part of the TFT contract anyways. And then we will work with TFT to set a date. Right now, roughly we're saying by the end of September, if we do not get all of the hires that we need through the TFT position, at that point, we would then consider a contractor company like GrowthWorks, for example, where we already have 3 from that we're contracting to potentially finish out the year while we're trying to hire. So the goal will be to hire them through our union position unless we struggle filling them within there. So Terry agreed when we talked to continue to have conversations about that moving forward if we agree with this. So the locations we're looking at right now, and I say the remaining 6 elementaries, the reason for that is Myers and Randall have a current general ed social worker from GrowthWorks at this point. So does West. That was put in place right at the end of the year, and so they'll be carrying into this following year. Johnson's one of them, and then potentially Hoover, but 8 may not be a possibility. So what we would do is similar to what Cindy's done in the past. We will look at break down the need for how she decided how those other social workers were assigned, and as we hire them, we will assign them based on the need of the buildings at that time, with hopes that pretty quickly we can get them all filled, but there will be an order, obviously, most likely, with how we're going to place these individuals. Talk about grant funds. There's the estimated cost I included on there, which is just from the TFT contract. And so the purpose of these, the reason why it's not only a matter that we have the 31AA funds for mental health. The other purpose is we know our elementaries need more support in an array of reasons. And one of them is through that mental health to be more proactive. They do not always have, other than some of the special ed staff, a lot of support staff within the building. So what we propose for these general ed social workers is not to fill up their day with a caseload like other social workers do, where they see 40 students and they see them throughout the week and that's all they're doing. The proposal would be that these individuals are out and about within the building. When different issues and things come up, they're working with kids intently. They're working with groups of kids. They have some scheduled interventions. If a student needs above and beyond what the school can offer to help them and the parents seek the assistance they need outside. And so that's what this individual would be. And to do that properly, they really need to stay. We talked about split positions too, but they really need to stay in that building.
So it's
and
more
be
like a
counted on.
hands-on, so they'll be like maybe in the classroom helping them through issues.
Yes.
and
It'll be more hands-on. Yep. That's what where the special ed social workers, they're attached to a caseload for
Mhm.
special ed. They meet them throughout. These would be more, hands-on, out and about.
moving around.
Yep. Yes, exactly. I think that's it. Any questions on that one?
All right.
Okay, so going on to the next one, number 5, the attendance agents. So we got a lot of different, sorry about all the different grant names and those type of things, but this one, we have a grant called 21H, and this grant is specifically given to us because we have a couple of our schools are classified as CSI schools through the School Accountability Index because they fell within that 5% for various reasons, which is Myers and TVLA that we talked about in the past. So specifically, we're assigned, because of those two schools, we're assigned district-wide access to this 21H money. So back in June or July, we proposed to the state kind of a priority of items that we would spend this money on. Again, kind of like the other grant, this was a short time frame. We'll have access to this grant funds again going into the next year. And we're actually told by our MDE representative that the state has tripled the amount of funds that they're offering to this, because essentially the state had $6 million worth of funds, but they've had like 2 to 3 times the schools fall within this index due to post-COVID environment. So they've tripled the funds to be able to support the schools better. So this will be sustainable at least for a couple of years. So one of our proposals, there's a couple items in the proposal, but one of them was for 3 attendance agents. The MDE approved 2, and I believe the funding we've already seen the funding within the district, correct? On the 21H has already been
I
in our
think
books.
That comes through this, well, it won't be on our books until we spend it. So if we
Okay.
got the cash,
We got
we
it,
have to store it away until we spend it.
okay, so it's
So it'll
there.
be in it, so it'll be in this year.
It's there waiting for that use. And what they looked at our proposal, and what they approved at the state level is they approved the 2 attendance agents and another small component of it. And so what the attendance agents are going to do essentially, it's kind of a more, I guess, polite way to look at it as like a truancy officer would be another way to kind of gauge it in the past. So what they would do, we would house one of the individuals at Myers due to the CSI school, even though they may serve a couple other schools along the way. And then the other one, we're proposing to serve the rest of the elementary as such, especially after the deans were already accepted. The deans will be playing more of an attendance role at the secondary level. So what they will do is essentially they'll be tracking truancy, tracking attendance data. They'll be working with students. They'll be working with families to basically improve our attendance protocol and then figure out, okay, what other proactive measures do we need to put in place for kids to be at school? One concern did come up from the board as well about, because one aspect of this job is a lot of time, sometimes like home visits, especially in extreme circumstances. So if there are a situation where that needs to happen, we'll help coordinate that with Michelle, and we'll talk about does a police officer attend with them, or what does that look like, or do we hold the meetings within the district and bring individuals within there? But a lot of this is coordinating with the family, because especially the younger kids, the reason why some of the kids do not attend is not always because of the the student themselves.
So one will be specifically at Myers Elementary and the other one will work through the rest of the elementary schools?
Yeah, and that's
So we
so
have two in the elementary schools?
we would have, right now, we're proposing the two to serve the K-5 level simply because during last board meeting, approved the deans that are going to be in the secondary levels. So a portion of the dean's responsibility is for attendance and truancy in some of those. So we figured since we only got two approved and not three, they would be better served for the attendant. So now what the other thing we are going to look at is if you have a family, let's say you're addressing an elementary attendance issue, and there's a family that stretches through middle school and high school, the attendance agents will still be addressing that entire family as a whole, not just the elementary student. So that part it will stretch.
Who generally takes care of this kind of stuff right now? Like who?
Well, it would be at the elementary level, it's essentially the principals and the teachers. And so it'd be the principal making some of those calls, secretaries may make some attendance calls. And then teachers, because they have a group of students, they would be calling parents as well and trying to get them in and trying to talk about attendance. So those would be the majority. We don't have any other separate positions. I know Myers had a culture and climate liaison, so they did some of this as well. They won't have that position next year. And then there's one other elementary that had, maybe Holland, that has one of those too. But most of them do not have a specific role for this.
So currently within the district, it would be like, if this wasn't, it would be the principals, teachers, and like a combination of like secretaries or no?
Job to basically, to track attendance, look at truancy. Once it gets to the truancy level, usually then the principal will take over. There's a letter that's created and they send it home when it gets to that truant, and there'd be requests for meetings and those type of
And
things.
the money, the 21H grant, that's specifically for attendance agents?
Yeah, that's what
It's
MD.
not like it would be used for something.
Correct.
So
The way
there's-
that we propose it, MD gave us the money with that in mind. And I'm not sure if there's a process to reapply or change that because they've already assigned it. So that's what they gave us. So they gave us 120,000, 60,000 per for that specific reason.
And then,
Oh, go ahead. Go for it.
and then because obviously the one isn't gonna have anything to do with Myers, that one will just focus on Myers Elementary. When we find that the one that's where are you housing the one that's working on the rest of the elementaries?
So the rest of them, either we'll find a central location, they'll probably be mobile for the most part. I mean, we can, a lot of times with staff like that, we'll either find whether it's the career center like we do the ancillary, or we find an elementary for them to be housed at, even though they'll be mobile throughout the week.
And is the elementary school, that's where the most absence
The,
is, or?
the absences are pretty consistent across the district. There are certain schools like Myers absence rate is higher than some of the rest of them. So there is some variance within there. So I wouldn't say necessarily that the elementary rate is much higher than the secondary rate. We just feel like we have more secondary support now to deal with some of the attendance issues than maybe we have at the elementary level. So that's why we were proposing them for them.
At some point, if we find that they could also utilize through the secondary levels as well,
Well,
right?
right, and that's what we're gonna see the success of them. And because that 21H grant is gonna come back, so mid-September, we'll be able to apply for it again. So basically, our MDE representative said, make sure obviously you apply for what you have so they can continue funding the two agents. And then they're tripling the money, so we'll be able to apply for more. So one item they said is, do you want to apply for other aspects of it, or do you want to apply for that third attendance agent for like the secondary level? So there are some options there for the next, for the 23, 24, 21H grant funds.
With,
So,
Go for it. Go for it.
sorry, so I know, I'm sorry. I don't want to be hiring people and spending money for no reason.
No, you're good.
Is this able to like, could you hire someone within the district already? Or is it an external?
You
You
could.
either hire these people or you don't get the money, right?
Right,
too.
right. You could hire internally depending on it. What we're proposing right now, because it's a temporary, it could be a temporary position with the grant. We're actually proposing them be a non-affiliated member, similar to like some of our security guards are, and the salary will range probably from that 40 to 45, because with benefits has to reach like that 60,000 range. And so it's around that. So you could see some staff in the district potentially, depending on where they're currently working, apply for it, but they would also have to know that it's a grant funded position, it's unaffiliated. So there would be less security, for that individual. So that's why we would most likely find probably somebody who's retired or in a different situation, but we would consider internal if that's what they wanted.
With this being addressed at Myers, was this part of what was submitted as our plan to pull Myers out of the bottom 5%? Because I know we had to submit a plan, we had to submit goals. Is this playing a role in what we submitted to MDE to pull Myers out from the bottom 5%?
Yes. So part of a CSI school, we have to establish our school improvement goals, which are across the district, but they have to be the ones that MDE is actually tracking are the goals that apply to both Myers and TVLA, because they're in the bottom 5. They're those CSI schools. So one of the goals for district wide, but specifically for Myers, is the attendance and increasing attendance. And so there's attendance graduation rate, but graduation rate's more TVLA. And then there's math and ELA goals, but this one would specifically be to address the Myers attendance and then other, but.
And this is something MDE is like basically saying you need to address this because this is affecting the school's performance.
Yeah, it'll be one of that we're tracked on. So over the 3-year period, if we don't meet our goals of increasing the attendance of the goals that we say, and they give us different stipulations of how much we need to increase, then essentially after that 3 years, we could fall back into still being under MDE support if we don't if we don't meet those goals that they ask us to meet.
Do other districts have this, and have you looked at other districts?
Yeah, so part of at the beginning of the summer, when we were given the 21H funding and the application for it, we talked to the representative from MDE, which is part of the Office of Partnership Districts, but they came in and talked. So that talked to her, we talked to our RESA representative, and then what they did is they pulled all different districts that are under similar circumstances and kind of gave us kind of a list of ideas of things they use, because it's nicer to look at that instead of just starting from scratch. And so we looked over some of those possible ideas, and this is one that they also said had a higher chance of getting through MDE, higher chance of being funded. So this is where we started. I mean, other goals within there are a few other things. Another thing we're looking with the next 21H grant could be to expand more attendance changes, but also could be to reduce the radius of our walkers within the district to provide other busing, those type of things to increase busing. Now that comes with potential staffing issues with bus drivers, but so we could use some of those funds as well to increase our busing capability to get students into the school. So there's other ideas that we're looking at there for the next wave that will start, or at least we can start the application process mid-September.
So we have these funds already, or we don't have them?
We do have them, right?
Well, they're approved. We haven't gotten the money, but it's an
So if
approved
this
grant.
attendance agent does not get approved, we can use those funds for possibly busing, which is one of the issues that they're not coming to school.
You would have to go back to MDE.
Right, and that's what
amend it,
we'd have to
and
look at. I don't know, Cindy submitted the original grant, so we'd have to look at what happens if you change the language of the grant. Would you have to go back for reapproval? Could you potentially lose it? So that, I don't know the answer of that, but I know we'd have to go back to MDE for
So
approval.
the grant and the money was approved based on hiring these people?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And the current employees that are supposed to be doing this are not doing it, or?
Well, they're doing it to kind of, I guess, the capacity they're able to do that. This helps us to address some of the more severe situations that the district may not have the capacity to address because they're looking at. And so it takes a long time to spend working with those families to try to get that attendance up. So this provides us with a little bit more of that, that personnel to be able to do that.
You said that this person, because I know that there's been conversations with the 23rd District Court, and they are supportive of following through on truancy. So this attendant agency would follow that truancy report to the court all the way through, correct?
Yep. Part of their job description is to be the court liaison. So one thing the 23rd District did agree to, they don't have probably the the ability or the capacity to service our middle school and high school because of the amount, but they do want to start with our K-5 area, which means if we get situations that are what we'd consider the more extreme truancy cases, they would be willing to take those on, send information to parents, bring them in if needed to try to get them on the right track. Because as we know, truancy does fall on the parents at any age of a minor.
And this has been a struggle also because if we don't have this position and it was back on the principals or the principals really, those buildings, the principals would have to be the ones that attend court for those truancy
Yeah,
cases.
they could potentially, if they're requested to be there, they may have to attend and submit the reports or whatever else
But
is
now it
needed
would be
for
this.
those. And then this would be the liaison now. I mean, the principal would help support them how needed,
Right.
but this would be the main contact, yes.
Okay.
That's
then-
why having someone retired, finding like a retired law enforcement, someone would be ideal, but I know that's hard to do nowadays too.
Who will they report to?
They would report to the building principal. So in Myers, they would report to Michelle. We'd still have probably the assistant superintendent of like elementary. So Cindy's replacement probably oversee the whole project, especially since there'll be multiple ones with the one that's moving from one to one, but they'll take a lot of their direction from the principals themselves and working with them. But they'll work with the assistant superintendent to establish basically a protocol that if you are traveling between buildings, you have to set some precedent so that way they're not being tried to be pulled, 6, 7 different ways.
Yeah. Questions? All right, thank you.
All right, no problem. And the last one on this list part of it is the additional THS teacher. So the reason behind this teacher will be exclusively credit recovery. So according to TFT, it'll be a normal teacher within the contract. It's just their caseload or their class load will be credit recovery. So what we do every year when we are doing the master schedule is we always look at what we call them holes within the schedule, basically classes that a teacher has, or an hour a day a teacher has that there's no need for a class, because we might need one year, we might need 18 Algebra 1 sections, and another year might need 16, right? So if we have less sections, some teachers have holes. So with the past few years, what Scope and her team has done is they've been able to fill those holes with credit recovery opportunities. So if you're a math teacher, you get math credit recovery. If you're an English teacher, you get English credit recovery. Right now with our student counts at the high school at about 1,650 students, right now with even going high on the student number, we don't have those same holes in the master schedule, which means, but we still have a extremely high need for credit recovery. So that's why we're requesting that we add an additional teacher to the high school that would serve in this role. And then down the road, if it credit recovery is always going to be needed, but if it opened up to spreading out amongst the teachers, this teacher could go, other locations. They'd be part of the TFT.
So the credit recovery portion that they'd be hired for is basically a temp position.
Well, it would be they'd get a full
Full-time,
first year
but
contract, just like anybody else within that. And we expect to need.
But it's not like a
from year to year.
guaranteed position for the next 5 years.
It just kind of depends on where the needs of we're assuming it will be with our needs, because the other thing with it, one of our goals was to get some teachers with exclusive credit recovery. It's also going to be managed by Marlene Scott, our TVLA principal, because they're going to be using Edmentum. So they'll get training through her. They'll be working with the mentors. And so it'll be a THS position because they're serving THS students, but it will be kind of mentored and supported through our TVLA since they're in the same building.
The ultimate goal would be to have less students that need credit recovery.
Right, yes.
correct?
Yeah, the goal would be to eliminate it entirely.
Yeah.
Griffin Hour?
What was that?
Would this get rid of Griffin Hour? Because ain't that what Griffin Hour basically?
It wouldn't get rid of it entirely. So Griffin Hour has two folds. There are some credit recovery that's done within Griffin Hour. So it does support those who need that. So if there is still, because most likely the need is still going to be beyond this one teacher. So Griffin Hour was one we talked about that we could utilize that subject specific support. The other reason for Griffin Hour is to also support the students' current classes that they're taking. So they obviously don't get to the point of needing a credit.
But when they
recovery
need a
course as
credit
well.
recovery, isn't there like their second hour might be their credit recovery hour,
Correct.
right?
Yeah,
And
this
so
would
what
be
you're-
what
you're saying is we have more students that need credit recovery than we have teachers that can help them?
That's correct, yeah. And we don't have as many holes in the schedule to plug those credit recoveries into. Yeah, because they would be able to service at least around 180 or so students in 150, 180 within this credit recovery.
Is that demand coming a lot from the freshman class going into their sophomore year?
I mean, freshman is obviously a fairly common one. I mean, there's ones from every grade, or some of them who should be sophomores or juniors or seniors that are still considered freshmen. But yeah, there are some that are coming from there. And then keep in mind that when a student does fail, there are multiple options. Some retake the course entirely, so they don't go a credit recovery route. Other ones do a credit recovery situation or do Griffin hour if they want to still, because if you still want to pack your day and not take up an hour for credit recovery, you would look at doing something like a Griffin hour option to keep a full schedule.
So how do we start to put in and like holding that Griffin hour for what it's for and not just kids want it? How do we start to because that is what Griffin hour is for, even for the freshmen specifically, right? Like if we have 100 freshmen and 50 of them need credit recovery now, well, what were they doing during Griffin hour all year?
Right. So you're talking about like the accountability part
Yeah.
of it with making
Obviously,
sure that they're
Griffin hour
utilizing.
is not working, right? It's not working if we have this many students that need credit recovery because they're not doing what they're supposed to.
So it's going after like a portion of it, but yeah, there needs to be more interventions than just, Griffin hour in place. And then, yes, there's always definitely improvements
I
that
mean, I
can
don't
be made
remember
to it.
this many kids needing Griffin hour when I was in school. We didn't have Griffin hour. We
You
had
mean
6
credit
hours and we did
recovery.
our work or we didn't graduate.
That's so far behind.
This is, quick question, this is paid through grant funds? Because I see 31A.
Yeah, that's what our plan right now, because 31A is used for at-risk funding. So this, because it's covering students who have failed credit recovery in the past, yeah, we can cover this position fully with grant funding.
Any questions?
All right.
Moving on.
So I know I have other things that are not these positions. All right, so the overnight and out of state conferences. So we do have 3 of them. So the first one that's in your packet is the Thoughtful Leaders Series. And so this does utilize either administrative or teacher leaders throughout the district to attend this. In this case, we're just using it for admin leadership. So this has been at least a partnership for 1 year, if not 2, that we've been sending some of our administrators on. And essentially, if you look up the dates of this are actually always a Friday and a Saturday. And so it's like a Friday evening and a Saturday. So it's outside of the work hours. However, because of some of the travel, as you see, can be ones like, Ypsilanti's not that far, but if you're going to St. Joseph or Traverse City, might be going a little farther. So there are some of our principals that we give that Friday off to be able to go on them. But it is the principals giving up essentially their Friday evening and their Saturday to attend this event. And it's focused on exactly what the title says, on different leadership possibilities to be able to improve their ability to lead within their buildings. So the reason why it's being brought to you today is obviously they're all within Michigan. It's a Michigan development, but they are overnight. There are one night each for Friday night.
And each one of these are Title II.
Yep, we will use Title II, our professional development funding for them.
Questions?
They all going to the same one.
Yeah, yes, yep, they are the same series. And with the series, they'll have different, they'll obviously have some keynote speakers, those type of things, but they also have different breakouts and those type of things that you can go to as well.
So they're gonna go to all 4 of them.
They will, yes,
Okay.
yep, they will attend all 4, if
And,
they're able to.
Could all of the principals went if they wanted, or?
It is
leadership?
something that when Cindy worked with them, she put it out there at some point to all the principals, kind of see where the interest was. And I'm not sure if there was, I know these are the principals that showed interest. I'm not sure if there was ones who were turned down or not. I don't think there was, but I think these are the ones that came out. Because it's a tough commitment, at least 4 times throughout the year. You're
Right.
giving up the majority of your weekend time. So,
And this doesn't interrupt school day, right? You said it's evening Friday. and then-
They'll be fairly fresh.
yeah, it could. So there are certain ones that are a bigger length that could be leaving on a Friday to be able to attend. Now, ones like Matt Hall, Laura are in the same building. Ones like those situations where Matt has either stayed the whole day and just went right afterwards,
Yeah.
or they had half days or something like that to be able to maintain the coverage that they need. But we do, as far as if it's a distance to get there, we may have to leave partway through the day to be able to attend on time. But the second day is all Saturday. It's not during school.
Any questions?
All right, so the other one is the Great Lakes iReady leadership. So this is for, three of our school improvement members. Tracy's no longer going to be part of the school improvement team, but she's going to be part of our teacher leader team with it. So this is for either school improvement leaders or teacher leaders. And it exactly says it focuses right on iReady itself. iReady, as you know, is the platform that we use, our local platform we use for K-12 testing. So this is more of the national one that allows us to look at kind of what are the updates, how can we more better utilize this assessment, and then what different things is it, can we bring to the district. So this is an out of state, obviously, and overnight one, but Title II funding again will be utilized.
Any questions?
Registration for lodging, that's included.
Yes, the registration and lodging. Yeah, so the only thing really that we're, as in the individual comp forms that you see, is going to be meals and mileage for that. But iReady, as part of being a partner with iReady, because we pay for the testing, part of it is to get access to these events for free. So it cuts down on the cost pretty majorly. All right, any questions? Then the last one. All right, so the last one is a food service one. So our new assistant director of food service, Colin Kincaid, as far as the school meals overview workshop, it is overnight. It is St. John's, Michigan, so still in state, but as part of her, as it says, training conference regarding nutrition, menu planning, administration, financing. So basically getting our new assistant director on board with understanding the school food service environment.
Any questions? All right, on to the last one.
All right, and because that serves students, it is Title II as well, because it is so we can stretch that. All right, so last one for the new hire, our recommendation for hire for student improvement coordinator. As we know, we said before, so Tracy Carroll sadly is stepping away from the school improvement, but happily she's still in the district. So she'll be at Hoover as a special ed co-teacher over there. So we're happy for her to get back into the classroom, but that did leave a vacancy within our school improvement team. So we did go through a very similar hiring process that we did in the past. So we had a interview panel of 11 different individuals that were representative by all unions. After that, we passed 3 individuals on to the cabinet interviews, where we then passed 2 forward, where in the absence of an interim or permanent superintendent, Cindy and I did the third round, where we met with the 2. We are recommending for hire Sarah Stanton, which Cindy and I both feel is an excellent candidate for moving forward. She's the current middle school principal at Monroe Middle School. So she served there as 5 years as an assistant principal, and then last year she was the head principal. She was a school improvement coach previous to that and had other school leadership improvement roles. She is very knowledgeable of a lot of our initiatives that we're going into. So I do feel very strongly, other than getting used to the school and the district and the team, she'll be able to jump right in from the curriculum work. She's very, very ready for that and enthusiastic, by it sounds like, with what Pat said on the call. So
Very.
And she does apologize. I should say she planned on being here today, and I'm not sure, I haven't checked to see if she's online. She was going to try. I do see a Sarah. But she did have some family issues that came up, so she wasn't able to attend. She let me know, but she was going to try to attend virtually.
If that is the Sarah, you can do the raise hand so Shauna sees you when we go to vote.
Oh, there.
Oh, there's the Sarah. All right.
That was quick.
Cool. Thank
But
you,
to
Sarah.
add to
That was
that,
awesome.
though, when I was talking with her just going over the details of the position and whatnot. I said, well, normally we give you, like a day to think it over. We have talked about it, family, and she's like, nope, I'm taking it. I'm already ready. Already talked it over with my family. So she was very excited. So it was just nice. It was nice to hear that excitement through her voice, through the phone.
Absolutely.
So this isn't like a new position, we're trying to fill.
Yeah, we're trying to
Okay.
fill, yep, Tracy's old position. And these school improvement positions are paid like 90% out of title and 10%, I believe, comes out of the general fund for other various things to do.
Any questions? All right, awesome, thank
All
you.
right, well, thank you for letting me talk the whole time.
Moving on to item number 6, action items. Ms. Block.
Okay, action items, starting with opinion cafeteria table RFP. Policy 6320. It is recommended the Board of Education adopt a resolution accepting and authorizing the award of contract for cafeteria tables at Kenyon Elementary to Duell Learning Environment Specialists not to exceed $47,946.58. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Thomas. Mr. Myers is not here. Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Schufelt?
I'm gonna say yes, but I do want to look into that whole utilization thing going forward.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Black is a yes. Mr. Keith is no longer with us. So that is 5 yeas and 0 nays. Motion is carried. Number 2, Myers Cafeteria Tables RFP. Policy 6320. It is recommended the Board of Education adopt a resolution accepting and authorizing the award of contract for cafeteria tables at Myers Elementary to Nelson Adams Nyko, not to exceed $77,051.39. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Thomas. Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Schufelt.
Yes.
Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Ms. Black is a yes. Mr. Keith and Mr. Meyer are no longer here. 5 yeas, 0 nays, motion's carried. Number 3, September, October advance authorization to hire policy 3120. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the advance authorization to hire personnel for vacant positions. Individuals hired under the advanced authorization will be placed on the next regular board agenda. Advanced authorization will be used for all current positions September 1st, 2023 to October 31st, 2023. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas,
Yes.
Mrs. Schufelt,
Yes.
Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Ms. Black is a yes. Mr. Keith and Mr. Meyer are not here. Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
That passes 5-0. Number 4, general education social workers, policy 3111. It is recommended the Board of Education give authorization to the superintendent in order to execute an agreement, the additional general education social worker with the Taylor Federation of Teachers, TFT. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay. Mrs. Schufelt. Mrs. Schufelt?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Black is a yes. Mr. Heath and Mr. Myers are not here. Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Carries 5-0. Number 5, attendance agents, policy 3111. It is recommended the Board of Education approves the hiring of attendance agents as an unaffiliated district position. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright?
Yes.
I'm gonna say yes, but they better be doing what they're supposed to. Mr. Heath and Mr. Myers are not here. Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
No.
Mrs. Shufel?
No.
Did you say no?
No,
Okay. Here in a. 1, 2,
No,
3.
you have 3 yeses and 2 nos.
Oh, we only 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 and 2. Okay, motion carried by the slimmest of margin. Number 6, additional Taylor High School credit recovery teacher, policy 3111. It is recommended the Board of Education approves the hiring of an additional credit recovery teacher at Taylor High School. Is there a motion? Did you raise your hand?
No, it's touching my ear.
Oh.
I'll motion.
Motion by Mrs. Thomas. That I can't hear you. Scratch your ears. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Again, they gotta do your job, yes. Mr. Heath and Mr. Myers are not here. Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas,
Yes.
Mrs. Shufel.
yes, but I agree with you, and they
I do
need to
too.
be doing their job.
We can't we can't have 30,000 people doing stuff and you're still on the bottom. Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Okay, it's 5-0. Number 7, conference request, Thoughtful Leader Series, policy 6550. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the overnight conference request for Matt Hall, Stacy Hall, Michelle Hernandez, Cynthia Mazzino,
Mazzaro.
Laura Ratan. Did I say that? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Marlene Scott and Corey Doyle to attend the Thoughtful Leaders Leadership Series Conference, October 6th, 7th, 2023, November 3rd, 4th, 2023, February 9th, 10th, 2024, March 8th, 9th, 2024. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Thomas. Mr. Heath and Mr. Myers are not here. Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Shufel.
Yes,
Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Ms. Black is a yes. That carries 5-0. Number 8, conference request, Great Lakes iReady Symposium, policy 6550. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the overnight out-of-state conference request for Liz Biddle, Kim Berkey, and Tracy Carroll to attend the Great Lakes iReady Leadership Symposium Conference in Chicago, Illinois, September 25th through the 26th, 2023. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there a second?
second,
Second by Mrs. Shufel. Mr. Myers is not here. Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Shufel.
yes,
Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Ms. Black is a yes. Mr. Heath is not here. That passes 5-0. Number 9, conference request, school meal overview workshop, policy 6550. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the overnight conference request for Colleen Kincaid to attend the school meals overview workshop in St. John's, Michigan, September 25th through the 26th, 2023. Is there a motion?
motion,
Motion by Mrs. Shufel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Thomas. Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Shufel.
yes,
Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Ms. Black is yes. Mr. Heath and Mr. Myers are not here. 5-0, that carried. Number 10, request to hire school improvement coordinator. Policy 3120, it is recommended the Board of Education approve the hiring of Sarah Stanton for the position school improvement coordinator. Salary for the position will be a step 2 tax certified coordinator. $80,576 prorated. Ms. Stanton's start date will be as soon as practical. Their motion.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Shufel?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Black is a yes. Mr. Keith and Mr. Myers are not here. Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
It passes 5.
I know Sarah's online. I don't know if she wants to say anything. Maybe.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, thank you. I'm very excited. I look forward to meeting everybody in person very soon and apologize again that I can't be in attendance with you this evening.
Thank you and congratulations. We're excited to have you on.
Thanks so much.
All right, moving on to item number 7, consent agenda, Ms. Block.
Consent agenda policy 166.1 and policy 64.7. Item number 1, minutes from the August 2nd, 2023 regular board meeting. Number 2, consolidated items, payment of current bills, certified, non-certified, and administrative reports. Number 3, advance request to hire. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Is there a
Wait.
motion? No.
That should be a
Oh.
second one, right?
Curriculum department request to hire, right?
Curriculum department. Your motion.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Who was it?
Me,
Ms.
sorry.
Motion by Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Ms. Black is a yes. Mr. Keith and Mr. Myers are not here. Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Shufeldt?
Yes.
And it passes 5.
Moving on to item number 8, item scheduled for next agenda, Wednesday, September 6th, 2023. We have good news. Moving on to public comments. Thank you to all those who could be with us tonight. We understand the importance of continuing to keep you informed and providing an opportunity for you to be heard. Public comment will begin with those in person and then move to our online audience. For those in person, please step up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. After the in-person comment, our online audience will need to find the raise hand symbol for our moderator to recognize and unmute you. Please take into consideration common courtesy, refrain from any personal attacks, and keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. We will provide and assist with timekeeping, so each guest will be able to monitor their own time and know when to conclude, so all who wish to speak will have an equal opportunity to do so. As a reminder, if there are any questions at this meeting or by some other avenue, the superintendent or his designee will work on getting those answers in a timely manner. Are there any in person? Yes. All right.
Kathy Fields, 22670 Wood Creek. I wasn't going to bring this up until the next board meeting, but being that's right around the opening of school, it's probably not, excuse me, the opportune time to bring it up. Being retired, I have a lot of time to think, which isn't always a good thing. However, I kept contemplating when our new high school opens up. And then I kept thinking about, and I'm going to refer to it as Truman, because it's always going to be Truman to me. What were we going to do with that building? I know that there's been talk, oh, we're going to be closing middle schools. I don't remember the board ever voting on that yet, or elementaries. So I did a little bit of research, and I did talk to Jack about a couple of the things I was thinking of. But I believe we would be unique if we used that building, because we don't have the manpower to keep up an empty building. We tend to let them go. What if we use that building as Taylor School District Sports/Activity Center? What if we put all of our equipment for sports in that building? What if we gave coaches offices in that building? What we would have the pool, which we're not going to have in the new high school. We're going to have an extra gym. We're going to have fields. And that's what Jack and I were talking about. The reason some of our fields over at the high school now are so bad is because they never get a rest. Granted, during the high school seasons of sporting events, that's going to be played at the high school. However, any of the practices, the summer camp, summer football camp and baseball camp and basketball camp, all of that could be at that school. You could close down part of it. And I don't know, do you have to heat all of it if you're heating one part of it? So it would all have to be heated. And then it also would appeal, in my mind, to the elementaries, having the little theater. That would be a great place to have a 6th grade graduation or a chorus. Thank you, I'm old. Or a chorus concert or any of those things. We could repurpose that building. And I think it would take the stress off of the high school and or middle schools as far as the activities. There wouldn't be the activities, especially through the summer months, because they would all be being housed out of Truman. And we would be using that building. Now, whether we remodel it or modify it or whatever we do to it, but the point being, it would be usable, it would be unique. And I just think it's a pretty darn good idea. So I would be willing to work on any committee to make that happen, because I got lots of time on my hands now. So when is the board going to decide what they are going to do regarding, we open up the high school, what's the next step? Is there a next step that's been decided? Because I wasn't invited to all of those other meetings.
Right now, the way that the district is addressing that, that's going to be probably in the CPC meeting. I mean, when we talk about the middle schools, so.
But nothing has been decided yet, correct?
No.
Okay, so are there going to be some kind of advertising when the next meetings are going to be for this to be discussed, or is that committee already built?
Yeah, we have the CPC meetings. That's where we discuss the bond program. And the bond lays out that the 2 middle schools would be combined into Truman High School. So that's what the voters approved right now. So.
I live over in Wood Creek. They're still waiting for Armageddon. They're really quite funny.
But thank you. Are there any online? No. Moving on to item number 10, adjournment to closed session. Ms. Plow.
Pursuant to Michigan's Open Meetings Act, the Public Act 267 of 1976, and as amended, I move the board convene in closed session pursuant to attorney-client privilege. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Thomas. Ms. Black, yes. Mr. Myers, not here. Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Mr. Schufer. Mrs. Schufer.
Yes.
Mr. Wright.
Yes.
We will go
Passes 5-0.
into closed session at 7:40. We are returning from closed session at 9:38 p.m. Moving on to item number 11, actions after closed session. Ms. Block.
We have 4 action items. at closed session. Number 1, security guard agreement. Policy 4120. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the following 7 security guard agreements in the 2023-2024 school year at an increase of 3%, 2.5% on the base rate, and 0.5% for longevity. For Herman Remick, Niza O'Neill, John Edwards, Randall Skutnick, Leon Hamilton, John Gerbett, and Michael Pitts. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Thomas. Mr. Heath and Mr. Myers are not here. Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Shufeldt.
Yes.
Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Ms. Black is a yes. That is passed 5-0. Number 2, medical assistance, policy 4120. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the following 3 medical assistant agreements for the 2023-2024 school year at an increase of 3%, subject to further discussions regarding the contract terms. Mary O'Brien, Brandy Freeborn, and Mary Garrison. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Is that
Ms. Shufeldt.
Mr. Myers is not here. Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Shufeldt.
Yes.
Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Ms. Black is a yes. Mr. Heath is not here. That is carried 5-0. Number 3, interim assistant superintendent for elementary curriculum and resiliency. It is recommended the Board of Education approve Emily Graham as interim assistant superintendent for elementary curriculum and resiliency, subject to negotiations of an employment agreement and negotiations with TAXA. Ms. Graham's start date will be August 21st, 2023. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Thomas.
Nope, me. She beat me. Sorry.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Shufeldt.
Yes.
Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Ms. Black is a yes. Mr. Heath and Mr. Myers are not here. That passes 5-0.
I believe Emily is online. I don't know if she wants to stay. She's more than welcome to. No pressure. I know you're on the spot. Oh,
Hi, can you hear me?
yes.
Hi, I'd like to thank all of you for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 4, approval of interim superintendent agreement. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Yeah, Mrs. Shufeldt again?
Yes.
Okay. Second by Mrs. Shufeldt. All right. Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Shufeldt.
Yes.
Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Ms. Black is a yes. Mr. Heath and Mr. Myers are not in attendance. It passes 5-0.
Moving.
Daryl didn't
I
vote.
know. Oh.
You didn't vote? Oh, I skipped you.
It's a yes.
All right. Late.
All right, moving on to item number 12, board member comments. Are there any board member comments?
I just want to say congratulations to the new hires.
Yes. Same. I just want to say
Welcome.
thank you to Emily and Mike. We are very excited to see where the district goes, especially under your leadership. So thank you.
I
Welcome.
like to see our district go forward from all the turmoil that we had the last couple of weeks and thrive. And that all of our kids have a wonderful learning experience.
And good luck to the Taylor team in the Junior League World Series.
That's true. All right.
Again.
Moving on to item number 13, adjournment. Is there a motion? Motion by Ms. Block. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Thomas.
Whatever.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt.
Yes.
Mr. Wright, yes. Ms. Block.
Yes.
Mr. Heath and Mr. Myers are both absent. Mr. Thomas. That carries 5-0. The Board of Education regular board meeting of August 16th, 2023 will adjourn at 9:44 PM. Have a great night.